Hi, I'm Rick Bleiweiss. Welcome to Chapter and Verse. I'm here today with the fabulous, truly fabulous Susan Lucci. And Susan, as you I'm sure know, played Erica Kane on All My Children for over 4 decades and left an indelible mark on American culture. She's got a star on the Walk of Fame. She's the second woman in the history of the Columbus Day Parade to be the Grand Marshal, the first being Sophia Loren, so that's pretty good company to be in. She's in the Broadway Hall of Fame, Ellis Island Medal of Honor awardee, an ambassador for the National Women's Museum in D.C. She's gotten a Disney Legends Award. She was named E! Entertainment's Top Entertainer of the Year. Barbara Walters called her one of the 10 most fascinating people. VH1 called her one of the 200 greatest pop icons, and in fact, she was in the top 100. TV Guide called her one of the 50 greatest TV stars of all time. She's a Daytime Emmy winner, a Lifetime Achievement awardee. She's been on Broadway, and her first memoir, All My Life, was a New York Times bestseller. And Susan's written a new book called La Lucci, and I'll see if I can get to them, but it's loaded with some fabulous photos, and well, there they are, trust me, lots of pages of a lot of color and some black and white. Well, Susan, thank you for spending this time with me, and it's quite a list of accomplishments.
Thank you, Rick. My goodness, what an amazing introduction. Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome. Well, I think most everybody in America knows who you are, but there might be somebody that lived in a cave or a bunker for a few years. So I just wanted to make sure. So, we were talking that you grew up in Garden City and still live there, and I grew up in Great Neck on Long Island, both on Long Island. Yeah. And I really enjoyed living on Long Island. Obviously, if you've stayed there, you do too. What do you like best about Long Island?
I like so much about living on Long Island and in Garden City. I love getting in my car, for one thing, and driving to restaurants, driving to shops, driving to the beach. I like that very much. On the other hand, I also love it's a great sense of community in Garden City, and I love that. And actually, my husband, Helmut Huber, who came from the Austrian Alps, is the one who made me know how beautiful Garden City was and a great place it would be for if we got married to raise children. And he was right. He was right about all of that. And I noticed that then too. But the truth is, I am so very grateful that I have my life there, but also my life out in the big wide world. I needed both. What can I say? So happy.
Did you ever consider moving to or living on the West Coast, LA or Hollywood, or is that just, or did you ever? Was that, with your notoriety, I would assume that would be a calling.
Actually, there was a time I was up for a film called Heart Like a Wheel. It was about Shirley Muldowney, the race car driver. And it was a great script, a great director, Jonathan Kaplan. Actually, it came down between two of us, and it was getting very close. And our daughter was 10 years old at the time. So we looked into Marymount School there, so that we would have everything in place in case I got this. I knew the director really liked my work and so on. I didn't get it. Somebody else got it. But in any case, we had looked into it, and we thought about it very seriously at that time.
Okay. Cool. So let me go to the book for a second. So La Lucci.
Yes.
For those people who don't know the significance of La Lucci, could you explain how it came about and what it refers to?
Well, it's funny. It kind of just came up at the All My Children studio early on when they would call us to the set for rehearsal and then for taping. And I would be called sometimes by the stage manager, or that could be the producer or the director in the phone in the booth, call me by that name, La Lucci. And Regis, of course, is the one who made this so famous. I mean, he went to the public, and I think he also was calling me La Lucci. I don't think he ever heard what was going on in all my children's studio. There are monitors up always in TV
Right.
studios, but I just have a feeling that came from him. And he used it as a term of endearment, and he always just made me smile and laugh and giggle. He was so warm. And he told me actually that he came up with it because you mentioned Sophia Loren, that they called Sophia Loren La Loren.
Oh, really?
So I was so flattered.
Yeah. So that's great.
Yeah, she was someone I looked up to, and that was
Oh,
fantastic.
me too. Spectacular woman as a person.
Yeah.
So you say the book, I'm kind of reading a note here. You say the book is about your journey through love, joy, reinvention, and resilience in the face of profound personal and professional loss, and it reflects on your strength, perseverance, and embracing life's twists and turns, and a celebration of life, love, and courage. What made you decide to write about all that at this time?
Well, a couple of things. Rick, first of all, the first memoir that I wrote was called All My Life. And that
Right.
was 15 years ago. And I realize now that that was not all my life. Years
Right.
happened to me. And those 15 years are years full of personal experiences, life experiences that are personal to me. And I write about them in great personal detail, candidly, very candidly. But I realize that the umbrella over our humanity is that we all go through these life experiences, the good and the bad. We all do.
Yeah.
And so I would wake up sometimes at 2 o'clock in the morning and these things, particularly after I lost my fabulous husband. I would wake up in the middle of the night with just stories pouring out of me about our life together. Yes, the love and the loss, but also other things in my life. Things were just pouring out of me. At the same time, our good friend Nelson DeMille, the world-renowned national treasure that he was as a writer, was a very, very good friend. And he was encouraging me to write another book. And after my husband passed, Nelson became the best buddy, and I mean that we were buddies. And I would go with him in his world to publishing parties, writers, publishers, and to my great thrill, there were publishers there who were also saying to me, I think it's time for you to write another book. And they had read the first book, which was also much to my wonderful delight, surprise. And so I took it seriously. And then I decided that if I were going to do it again, I'd want to do it with Laura Morton, who wrote my first book with me. I mean, we do a lot of recordings. She has my voice. We sit in person. It's my voice, but
Right.
it's recorded. So she would write them and help me organize everything. She was fantastic. I'm not somebody who just talks about my life. I mean, I'm in company with people, and I marvel at how some people just go and tell these wonderful stories, but that's not me. But Laura asked questions in such a way and in such a manner that it just unleashed these things to come out of me. And so there we are.
Well, through you, I've gotten to meet and, excuse me, know Laura a bit, and she's a fabulous person. So you couldn't have picked a better person.
Oh, how lovely to hear you say that. Thank you, Rick.
No, absolutely. Having read the book, I'm fortunate that I could read an advance copy. It's warm, it's humorous, it comes across very honest, and you share pivotal moments that shaped your perspective and your gratitude. And what were some of those moments? Are there any that you could share that people would be interested in?
I hope they're interested. The gratitude and my faith actually helped me through the darkest times. And there was always gratitude. I mean, I realized that I really am so grateful and have always been so grateful for the blessings in my life. And I know that I have many. And in fact, when I won that first Emmy, I began by thanking God for the many blessings. And more recently, I got another Emmy and began at the same place because it's who I am. It's how I feel. what's helped me so much get through. But apart from that, I do talk about my relationship with my mother in the book, with my grandmother, with dreaming my dreams, of course, my husband, all of whom, teachers, all of whom motivated me. Well, the motivation was from me from the beginning, and I think we are born with that, or we're not, but I was and I am. And the people around me who encouraged me, and how that was. One thing I will say that really I feel very happy about, I'm proud in the book, over the course of those 15 years since my last book, I would see myself interviewed, and I would say what I think at the time, what I thought was the truth at the time, and I did. But I was inside. Outside, I was very reserved and, lovely, that's nice. But inside, there was so much more going on in me. I was so happy and so delighted and dancing and, cheering. But that wasn't coming out in my interview. Here was the chance to write a book that is much more detailed, and anybody's book, more interesting than a soundbite if you're interviewed on a TV show, or than social media can express. So here was the chance in modern times, with my voice found,
right,
that I could express myself, my gratitude that you mentioned, my enjoyment, and my really my lowest points where I didn't even think I had anything left in me at all.
Well, I'm glad you got over that, because you certainly have a lot to offer everybody.
Thank you so much.
Well, it's true. So you mentioned, your Emmy, and certainly one of the things I think the public knows is that there were a lot of years you didn't get the Emmys, and I think, to me, that made you more iconic. It made you stand out because nobody else had done that. And so people who weren't soap opera fans still knew who Susan Lucci was. Do you ever view it through that lens?
People mentioned that to me. It was so touching to me that people cared, and they did. And they really let me know it. And that was really, really something very warming to me, very special to me, very supportive of me, to keep on going. I mean, I'm somebody, so when I didn't win the Emmy all those years, I would take it to heart and think, okay, how can I do better? How can I be better?
Right.
And at the same time, the people who watched the show thought I should win. And that meant a lot to me. It's in the eye of the beholder. And the people I respect, I was working with and for, they thought so. So all of that together came together. After I did win, I remember being stopped at a red light on the way home, because I continued to live on Long Island. We were driving home. And a truckload of New York City firemen pulled up next to the car. And I don't know how they saw me, but they looked down and they all gave me a thumbs up. And so much.
Excuse me, that's great.
Yeah, I mean, I would walk into restaurants and the whole staff would just come and sing. It was a very magical thing that happened. Mm-hmm.
Cool. Do you have a favorite restaurant? I know I'm kind of going all over the place,
okay.
But do you have a favorite restaurant you like going to?
In New York?
Yeah.
There are so many to choose from. Well, something I love is Margarelle in the Lowell Hotel. That. I love that restaurant. It's very beautiful. The food is spectacular. And actually, in the Lowell Hotel, there is also the Jacques Bar, which is also very charming. You're nodding. You know these places.
Well, I was a New Yorker for 60 years of my life.
Oh, I didn't realize that.
Oh, yeah. Well, having grown up on Long Island, and then I moved into Manhattan, and I lived in Gramercy, Chelsea, the Village, Upper East Side. So yeah, I didn't move west until I was in my 60s.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
Yeah, so
That's another story. Somebody's going
yes,
to ask you what
it
made
is.
you do that and so on. But anyway, and so now there are some new restaurants too that I have come to like very much. One is called the 86
Don't
and
know that one.
downtown. It's new
Uh,
and
oh, okay.
wonderful, but it's in that gorgeous section. You mentioned the Village. It's in the West Village, and
Yeah.
it's really beautiful. There's an endless amount, and I love good Italian food, obviously. It's not a surprise.
Me too.
Yes. So there are great ones in New York.
Cool. So let me ask you a question. In addition to the photos that, and I think there are almost 100 never before seen photos.
Some are never before seen, yes.
Yeah, that's great. You also have a chapter addressing the most asked questions or most frequently asked questions by your fans. And I was wondering, is there one particular question that gets asked more than any others or not?
There is. The most asked question is who was the best kisser?
Oh, really?
Yes.
So I'm assuming you reveal that in the book. I've read the book, but I'm saying this for anybody who hasn't. I would like to think it was your husband.
I was just going to say that also the other mostly asked question is how did it feel all those years not to win the Emmy? Yes. I will say winning is better.
Yes, it certainly is. So are there any anecdotes or stories that didn't make the book that were on the cusp of being included but weren't?
Oh, well, we all have, tons of things in our lives. So not everything did make the book. I'd have to think about what I was on the cusp about. I think the things that I wanted to say and the stories I want to tell are in this book. One thing there's something that I think, well, starting, with dreaming my dreams, and this is something that we all have in common. We all have our dreams.
Right.
And I dreamed mine, and I talk about that. But also there was, all of us too on our attempt to make our dreams come true and have our goals be our goals realized. We have the perhaps the things that could have stopped us, the wannabe obstacles, the wannabe.
Yes.
If we let them. And I do write about a really very impactful encounter I had when I was 12 years old on the school bus one day. And in a funny way, something like that, I think somehow, somewhere motivated me.
Wow, cool.
The motivation was mine always. I just was born that way. But I think, again, people we meet, the encounters we have, some of them not so good, can also serve you well.
Yes, totally.
Yeah, there's a thing with my mother. I mean, this chapter, my relationship with my mother, there's a quote from my mother, which is, every knock is a boost. And
Great attitude.
Great attitude. And she had that, yeah.
Yep. So a longtime friend of mine, Sid Walters, was the stage manager of Searched for Tomorrow for 20 years. And Agnes Nixon was the original writer on that show. And I know you have a special relationship with her. Could you tell people who she is and how you and she met?
Yes. Agnes Nixon was the creator of All My Children, and of course, Erica Kane.
Right.
And I met Agnes at my 5th callback, the audition for Erica Kane, when they were going to put me on camera. And I didn't meet her at the time, but I saw her out of the corner of my eye when the producer was talking to me before I went out to do my audition. And I didn't know who Agnes Nixon was, shame on me, but I didn't know. And I saw this petite, beautiful blonde woman in an Yves Saint Laurent pantsuit running down the hallway in her high heels, which I immediately gravitated to. Anyway, that was the great Agnes Nixon, I found out. And I got the part, thank heavens. I was so happy to have this wonderful part. And
Yeah.
Agnes really, from afar, for a long time, was someone I looked up to tremendously. And then as time went by, I was privileged to be in her company. I looked up to her. I admired her. She had a fantastic sense of humor on top of being this amazing writer. And in so many ways, I was so lucky to be mentored by her. Not that it was a formal thing, but just observing her, being in her company, was mentor enough.
Cool.
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you had 5 callbacks. Was that normal? I mean, for anybody that's not an actor, is that I don't know, is that a normal thing to have 5 callbacks?
I don't know anymore because at that time, all the auditions were done in person.
Right.
And, I was paired with Frau Heflin, who played my long-suffering mother, Mona, from the very beginning, but not at the final. She was busy. She couldn't work that day, so I was with somebody else. But then she was cast in the part. I think now a lot of auditions, preliminary auditions, are done on tape and sent in.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm not sure if 5 callbacks is normal anymore. It probably was fairly normal at the time. I mean, Agnes, I had been told I probably would never work in television because I would, or film, because I was too ethnic looking.
Oh, I don't think so. Okay.
At the time.
Okay.
So, I didn't take that to heart. I thought, maybe not, because I had had a great deal of success in high school and college. And, on that level, I was not
Right.
all my children. But anyway, yes. And so, but Agnes was looking for a very particular thing, which the other girl, I told you it was between 2 of us at that time. She also had dark eyes, dark hair, and olive complexion. So this is what she was looking for. So maybe that's why it took so long.
Okay. I imagine, though, it must have been a bit stressful being called back and called back and called back and really wanting the role.
Yes, just a bit. And especially when it was the final callback at 5 times, to see that Agnes Nixon herself was going to be in the control booth watching. Yeah, no pressure.
Did you have any input into the character of Erica Kane, or did you only do and say what the writers wrote? Was that...
Several things. First of all, I was in the hands of a genius, Agnes Nixon,
Yes.
and a groundbreaker.
Yep.
So I recognized that early on. I never would presume to suggest a storyline or anything. That was me. I also, I didn't come out of my dressing room unless I was called for 8 years because I was just so, shy. And I just, that's how I was. But Agnes would say, and did say to me, the contribution was in what she saw on camera, in what she watched.
Okay.
She would write it, but then it was in our hands. And I am the lucky actress who she took a chance on me as a young girl and put Eric in my hands. So.
Oh, cool. No, cool. And you did your own stunts, if I'm not mistaken. Is that true? And if so, was there one that was the hardest that you did?
I don't think I recognized them at the time as being hard. Looking back now, that run down the center of the grand staircase at the Metropolitan Museum in a long white gown with a long white stole and high heels. Jackie Babin was the producer at the time, and she walked me to the top of the staircase. She told me what she wanted me to do. Go to the top of the staircase, pause in the center, spread your arms out so we can see the shawl matching the gown as you run down the center. No handrails.
Oh.
Run down the center, as I said, in high heels and a long gown. And I said, okay. And so I did. Recently, I was in the Met and I saw where I ran down like that. And I was like, oh, God, did I do that? But anyway, that was then. The only one that would have been really hard, I didn't recognize it at the time. I'll tell you what happened. I was breaking my boyfriend out of prison. He was a monk, but I was breaking him out of prison again in high heels and a wedding gown. And I went to the prison. We were shooting on location in Connecticut, and the director got there before, of course, to scout everything out. And I had to climb up this 30-foot ladder and go onto the roof of the building. And when I got out there, it was snowing. And Jack Coffey was our wonderful director at the time. He said to me, so I want you to run to the waiting helicopter that was hovering over the roof, and it had a rope ladder down. I want you to run. This is how you're going to break Jeremy out. I want you to run to that rope ladder and just like sort of look like you're going to climb up the first step. And then we'll cut, and then we'll put the stunt girl, who was amazing, we'll put her in your place. Rick, in the heat of the moment, I ran to that rope ladder. I climbed up 4 steps until the producer and the director both jumped me from the back, threw me down. They said, "Are you crazy?" But in the moment, I thought, I can do this. And I don't have to cut it all. And I can do this. Well, thank heavens they stopped me, because when the real stunt was done by the stunt girl, as they described, she had on special gloves to keep her hands from freezing. As this helicopter then left the roof and flew over the state of Connecticut with her hanging on.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, I could never have done that, of course. But I thought I could. But thank God she did.
I guess thank God for stunt people.
Yes, so yes. So much admiration for them.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Just out of curiosity, you may not know the answer to this, but All My Children and One Life to Live were canceled at virtually the same time. Do you have any idea why you think that happened then?
Well, I got a call from Agnes, actually, very like 4:00 in the morning, telling me that she had just been told that the show was going to be canceled, and she didn't want me to be blindsided. And I was so grateful to her. In any case, she said, I think they will call you probably into Julie's office. Julie is producing at the time. And so when I got to the studio ready to shoot a show, I was indeed called into Julie's office. And Brian Franz, who was the head of daytime television at the time, was sitting there too. And so they told me what was going on. And I did ask him about the situation. And he said that he was going to put on 2 reality shows, one to replace One Life to Live and one to replace All My Children. And that the one replacing All My Children would cost 40% less to produce.
Okay.
And so I think that was his reason.
Okay. All right.
That's what he told me.
Well, it's unfortunate, but...
Oh, the fans were in such uproar that they crashed the whole system at ABC.
Really?
Yes. And Agnes told me this, and I had been told it, but Agnes told me this, and I thought, I'm going to call this number. I'm so curious. What does that mean, they crashed the system? But anyway, I was so grateful to them for doing it, but I called, and in fact, the answering machine at the time from ABC came on and said, to voice your displeasure, something like this, I'm paraphrasing, to voice your displeasure at All My Children being canceled, press 1. For all other ABC business, press whatever. So, in fact, yes, I crashed the system. And I was then, and I am so eternally grateful to them now, because they are still so passionate.
Oh, yeah.
There. And I've come to love them so much over the course of time. I've done so many personal appearances with them, and they are so warm and so, as I said, passionate. They are fantastic.
So let me ask you, a lot of actors have 2 personas. They have their public persona, which is outgoing, and they have a private persona that is shyer and more introverted. Not all, some are outgoing from start to finish. Yeah. Where are you in that spectrum?
And now I am in the more reserved, the shyer place. I think partly why this ghost light situation is the first thing I talk about in the book is because it was there that I felt unleashed. I didn't feel shy. I felt like I had a place to be me and perform. And so, yes, I think that's true.
Cool. So you hosted Saturday Night Live.
Yes.
What was that like, and was there anything unusual about that experience? That's
Well,
cool.
it was so cool, and it was so unusual for me because I had never done it before. It was so exciting. The first night I met Lauren Michaels, and he walked me around to meet. I had worked with all my children that evening. He walked me around to meet each of the writers in their offices to pitch their storylines, their ideas, and they were all these are the best comedy writers in the world. Are you kidding? I mean, so they were all phenomenal. So Lauren, this was his way, then we went out to dinner, then he asked me what I thought, and I said just what I said to you. Anyway, I guess he might have chosen then to a certain extent because on Wednesday we would do a table read of what was left standing, and we would be surrounded in the conference room. The table would be surrounded by people who worked in the on the show, and whatever skits got a laugh and a lot of laughs, those are the ones that would stay, and those are the ones we would do.
Right.
Every day on my way to the studio, to the NBC studio, they would send a car for me, and I would be in the back seat. And I was so terrified. My heart was pounding a mile a minute. And I remember one day when we got to, kind of towards the end, because they kept saying right at the beginning, they'd say, don't worry about the monologue. Don't worry about the monologue. Well, of course, as the performer, that's the first thing you do is the monologue, and it was that thing on my mind. So I remember sitting in the back seat, stopped at one red light thinking, you know what? I am terrified. I will just slide out this back seat. The driver might not even notice. I will hail a cab. I will go to the airport. And I will just go away for a few months. No one will die. I won't do this because I'm terrified. But I didn't slip out. I stayed with it. And I was terrified. They did the monologue towards the end, I think, because they only have to build the set at the end, because that's a given. They're going to do the monologue. Anyway, I went through with it. I had the best time. My adrenaline was pumping. It was so exciting. And the monologue that they wrote, I had not won the Emmy so many times by that point. The monologue they wrote was that everybody had an Emmy but me. So the makeup artist had Emmys. They actually were hoisting up her makeup table. She had them in her makeup bag. The carpenter was up on a ladder. He had them hanging off the back of his belt. Everybody. And the last scene was that I went into the cafeteria and they were having a food fight with Emmys they were using as corn holders. It was very funny. Obviously, it was Saturday Night Live and they know what they do. So anyway, I had a very good time. And I worked with an amazing cast. So
cool. So now you're also on Dancing with the Stars. Was that less stressful?
No, it was also hair raising. I mean, because I was working on all my children at the same time, so I was going back and forth twice a week and dancing. Tony Dovolani was my amazing dance partner, so experienced and so gentle with me, good with me, great with me, my leader, but so scary. Also, I always felt that me doing both, and believe me, a lot of people were doing more than one thing at a time, one show at a time, but I remember thinking I just couldn't get enough rehearsal in to get the dance in my body. As a dancer would tell you, it gets in your body. The Broadway dancers told me that when I did. Anyway, so I never felt really as secure as I should have. And I wanted that joy because I love to dance, but there was choreography and I have to do the choreography. And so that was really on my mind a lot. I did well. I just missed the semifinal. I was the second woman standing at the end.
All right.
Brooke Burke won as well. She should have. But I had the best time. But every time, at that time, they would announce you there was a British announcer who would say, "Now Dad, sing the cha-cha."
Yes.
I mean, my heart was racing. But I'm so glad I did it.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
Now,
yeah.
what about Broadway? You've acted on Broadway. You've done well on Broadway. How different is that, and where's that fit in your love of doing things?
Also hair raising, but my love of doing things, it comes with the territory, that adrenaline. Even with Erica Kane, and All My Children, I would be behind the sets. I didn't want to miss a trick in the script, so I keep reading and rereading, and then I'd go and do it. But with Broadway, and it was a musical, it was baptism by fire. I was playing Annie Oakley in Annie Get Your Gun. So this character is on stage almost constantly.
Yeah.
But I started working on the music 5 months ahead of time.
Really?
Yeah, so the music was in my body. And the dance was something I learned, during rehearsal. Because I went in for Bernadette Peters, so I was the first one to go in, which was thrilling. The dances, the choreography I learned at the time, and I had a little cassette I would take with me. And every moment, every waking moment, every lying down moment, I would play this and rehearse the dance steps, even in bed at night with my husband. The poor guy. I would have it on just on earphone. He couldn't hear the music, but I would be like working. He'd say, "Are you done? Are you done?"
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, now you also played golf and box, and I don't know if you do either anymore.
The golfing I did very little. Really, I took a couple of lessons, mostly because my husband played, my father played, and our son was such a really good junior golfer. And I started to take the couple of lessons after this experience. I was driving carpool. I took him to a tournament. He did so well. When we came back to the club, he really was intent on getting me up to the tee. And I did, and I just prayed to the golf gods. I tell it more fully in my book, but yes. So I thought, my son's such a good player, and my husband plays, my father played. I should take a golf lesson just to know what's going on. And so I would follow them around during tournaments, my son constantly on his tournaments, but I just wanted to know what it was, so I did, and it was good for me, and it was good. Then I was encouraged to play, but it takes a lot of time, and I thought if I would have that kind of time, I would rather take a dance class or a voice lesson, and so I did, and that led to Annie Get Your Gun on Broadway. But the boxing was for a movie for television called The Bride Wore Black. It was.
I remember that.
Remember that?
Yeah, I do.
It's so nice. I was so lucky to get boxing lessons from Danny Aiello Jr., who had been a boxer, as the son of the great Danny. And again, I just loved the first thing I learned for that movie. The first 2 weeks I learned to make bucconcini mozzarella and from an Italian family. And I thought, this is fantastic. And the second week was the boxing lessons. And it was great. And it was 2:00 in the morning. We were on a big schedule, and I'd be jumping rope and hitting the hard.
Cool.
I forget what they call it, but I had the best time.
Great. So now you've played Genevieve de la Tour on Devious Minds. You played Erica Kane on All My Children, and you hosted Deadly Affairs.
Yes.
How different were those three from each other?
Well, All My Children, I really we used to rehearse them ourselves in the hair room with hair dryers going. We were just running our lines together, trying to get in as much rehearsal as we could. It was a very big schedule, a very fast schedule, and a lot of material. So there was not a lot of rehearsal. Any ad-libbing that was done in rehearsal early in the morning, because what you're saying is your acting partner's cue. And It's also can be a cue for lighting or music that you're not even aware of. So we were on a stopwatch from the minute we got in. Every scene was timed. Even the darkness between the scenes was timed. So you couldn't ad-lib. So there wasn't, unless it was set in the morning. With Devious Maids, we had rehearsal. And there was discovery, really in its place on the set. And there was an extra step in the process. working on film, which was so appreciated. And I loved that opportunity. Loved the opportunity for the discovery part, which is part of the fun.
Oh, yeah.
And loved to have that rehearsal. With Deadly Affairs on Discovery, it was, I played different parts each time. It was 3 years. It did very well. I was very happy doing it, very happy doing it. But it was about real life crimes that had been committed, and I would be playing the detective or the bystander or whatever. And it was fun to do that. Very different than All My Children or Broadway or Devious.
Okay, cool. So I know people know you as an actor, but you're also an entrepreneur and you're also a humanitarian. And I know you do work with the Go Red with the women's music movement and the American Heart Association. And then you have your own line of products and businesses. And can you talk a little about both of those for somebody who may not know what you do in those areas?
Thank you. The entrepreneur, really, I would say, was my husband. He's the one who would bring me these ideas that we have been approached by people wanting me to do these product lines, and he was wonderful. It was never a case of he said you should do this. It was really a case of bringing them to me, and we would talk about it, and I would try every single thing that I was presenting because I didn't want to in any way not be authentic with my fans and anybody who was watching. And
Right.
that turned out to be really good. And even the contracts, would say things like that, that it has to be what they say is being represented and so on. So it was a big learning experience for me. And it was another place that I really found my voice, not playing a part. It was me speaking to the public.
Okay.
And I learned to love that. I really did. I really loved it. So I was doing that. I don't do it anymore. It was QVC and then HSN and then back to QVC. I just enjoyed it all so much. The last thing I was doing, actually for a number of years, was Malibu Pilates. I do Pilates. I have been doing
You
it.
too.
You do too. Oh,
Yeah.
wow.
You and I share a lot in health consciousness and Mediterranean diets and
Oh,
exercise. Oh, yeah, we're
oh,
very similar in that way.
how wonderful. It's supposed to be really good for us, Rick.
Yes. Well, in your case, given how good you look, it's got to be really wonderful for you.
Thank you. Actually, Tony Dovolani said my core is really strong. That's how he could lift me over his head. Otherwise, it would be like a sack of potatoes. That made me very encouraged and very happy. Anyway, so Malibu Pilates, it's a chair that is based on Joseph Pilates'
Right.
Wonder Chair, but it looks like Gucci got a hold of it and made it look very sleek and great. But it offers resistance. There are springs, and also could give you a cardio workout at the same time. So even though I'm no longer selling it, I am using it. I have it in my home, and it's right where it always has been. And I really value it. Yeah. So that's what I mean. I really wanted to use all the products. In fact, I had a blast on for an earlier interview today that is from my line of blouses. It got so many compliments.
That's great.
Yeah.
Well, we're sort of reaching the end here, even though I would love to go on for hours. But what else would you like to say about I'll hold it up again, the La Lucci book, and anything you'd like to impart, or anything, any message or advice you'd like to impart, or anything about the book?
Well, you mentioned earlier about some actors, they're shy, and some actors then are fine on stage, which is me, how I am. I have trouble watching my own work, and I'm very, very, very self-critical. Laura actually asked me at one point, do you think there are people out there who are more critical of yourself than you are? And I thought for a minute, I said, God, I hope not. It's just, every once in a while, I will see a scene and think, okay, good, good, growing, good. But with the book, I'm very proud of it. I really am. And I hope that people enjoy reading it. And in terms of any message, I would say to Laura throughout, Laura, no teachable moments, no tying it up in a bow, no bumper stickers. I really want people, we're all connected. It's the humanity. These are my life experiences that have gone through, am going through. And I know so many people out there, whether they're listening to the audiobook or reading it, they are too, or they have as well, and they continue to. And just, read, what I have, choices that I've made during my life experiences, and they'll come to their own conclusions. They'll take what they want or need or both from it. But we're connected, and that's the important thing. I don't want anyone to feel that they're alone.
That's great advice. Yeah, we are connected. You're right. Absolutely. Well, thank you for being here and doing this with me today. You're a spectacular person, and
you guys have wonderful questions.
well, thank you. I couldn't be more pleased to be able to do this with you. So thanks again.
Thank you so much. Keep on wearing that hat.
Well, I will. I started wearing the hat because my doctor said in the summer you need to keep the sun off your head because I've got male pattern baldness, and in the winter it keeps my head warm. And I just figured this one looked better than a baseball cap. So there you go. I
agree. No, it's fabulous. And you know what? It's better than a straw hat because I think sometimes the sun gets through.
Yeah. This one doesn't, but thanks.
You're welcome.